What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tapping in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I am happy to be here with you guys on this Thursday, August 24th, 2023, year of our Lord. Thank you for rocking out with me last night on the Anton Daniels channel when I had a very, in my opinion, very important conversation with you guys on what it takes in order to be married to certain type of people. Everybody is praying for a spouse. Men is praying for women. Women is praying for men. Everybody is wishing on a star. They on dating apps. They doing all of these different things, but we had to have an uncomfortable conversation of what those expectations are, along with everybody that called in last night. So I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure you get that Tej Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you to the Tej family for continuing to sponsor us. Also, ladies, if your man is neglecting to get that Tej Henley, make sure you get it for him. And if you are rocking out with any other Tej pack, then you need to make sure that you tap in with the Anton Daniels Tej pack. It is awesome. Shout out to Men Acquisition. Shout out to Kojak. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat this morning. We got a full show lined up for you guys. We had the Republican debate last night, and that was awesome. Nia Long's custody battle. Putin is destroying his enemies. Affordability on homes. Shannon Sharp is now joining First Take. We got a lot to get to, so shout out to Bam Bam Lynch. He is my first super chat of the day. I appreciate you. Bam Bam said it was dope chatting with you last night. It was dope chatting with you last night too, including Miss Bam Bam. Shout out to Miss Bam Bam. Also, let me give a shout out to Mike, that dude, showing up on the Cash App yesterday and this morning, as usual, always holding me down. One of the most consistent people that always make sure that he add value into my life. I appreciate you, Mike, that dude, for holding me down on Cash App. Kicking it with a chef said, this is my first live with you. Well, welcome. You are in for a treat. Because I will tell you that we have the best morning show on the face of the earth, bar none. The best morning show on the face of the earth, bar none. So whether you're looking on your national TV or whether you're looking on YouTube or any other platform, there is nobody that do it like we do it on the Millionaire Morning Show. I can guarantee you that. Also, let me give a shout out to Pretty Boy 79. Said, good job last night. Keep doing what you do. I appreciate you, pretty boy, for holding me down. I do not ask for super chats. I do not ask for cash apps, but I absolutely positively love to acknowledge the people that support the platform on a regular basis. And you know what we do Monday through Friday. We get it in. We make sure we add value into your life. We in corporate America. We in our businesses. We making it happen. We running a checkup. Hey, I'm curious. I'm very much curious. Where is the majority of y'all income coming from? Right? I'm not going to ask y'all where y'all from. I'm not going to ask y'all what y'all feel like. Just give me a general idea. One word. Is it business? Is it corporate? Are you living a soft life and you're just not working at all? Are you retired? Where is the majority of the people that is watching this platform as of right now? The thing that makes you the most money, where is the majority of your income coming from? Somebody said truck driving, business, job, corporate, business. Shout out to Sir Mr. Jason. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Job, 9 to 5, corporate, job, business, 9 to 5, government, corporate America, business, chef, corporate, retired, army, spouse, military, blue collar, welfare. Welfare. Shout out to the welfare recipients in the building. Shout out to y'all. Job, military, corporate, truck driver, 9 to 5, and real estate. How's that going with real estate with it not being a lot of inventory out there? W-2 employee, job, business, transportation, blue collar. Uncle Sam. Shout out to Uncle Sam, keeping my people filled up with that money. Uber, Lyft, job, transportation, PPP. Construction, temperamental, I'm going to read that. Excavator, property in the UK. Military, disability, UPS. What up? I'm going to be reading these super chats shortly. I appreciate y'all for pouring in. Federal employee, automotive, and diesel technician. WIC. Corporate change pro. Corporate military, federal employee. Who says stealing? Somebody says stealing? Oh, no, we can't have stealing. Was real estate, corporate for now. Job, God. Teacher, coach, roadside assistance, USPS. I'm an investor. I buy and hold and flip, buy off-market deals. Shout out to Real Estate Jay Jones. I love what Jay Jones got going on. Food stamps and pimping, that ain't easy. Real estate sucks right now, especially for new agents. Yeah, if you're selling real estate, it might be like that. Frontline medical field, employment, career, job. Bam Bam said OnlyFans. Y'all got jokes today. All right. Chef and wife. Your wife take care of you? Travel contractor. I got the wildest audience in the world up in here. I have the wildest audience in reselling that Teach Hanley pack. Software sales. Vending machines and ATM. Alimony. Truck driving in Canada. Sugar mama, bikes and stuff. All right, y'all getting wild. I ain't even going to pay attention to what y'all talking about no more. Shout out to everybody that's getting the bag. I just wanted to generally find out exactly what the majority of what people are getting their bag from, because that gives me insight on how it is, and I'm going to be able to pour into you guys more effectively. So shout out to everybody that's running it up, that's getting to it. We got a full show for y'all today. First and foremost, again, make sure y'all get that Teach Hanley. Secondly, I send feet pics too. Secondly, please make sure that you tap into the Patreon if you're looking to rock out with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. Hey, you know what? Before I get into the show, I was driving on the way into the office today, and I think that I'm like an oddball. You know what I'm saying? Like, have y'all ever, at any point in your life, whether you was growing up, whether you was in school, college, high school, sitting around the family dinner table on Thanksgiving or something like that. Have y'all ever just felt like you just really just didn't fit in? I don't feel like I fit in. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like I fit in for the majority of people. Like I feel comfortable in my own skin. I feel comfortable with you guys. I love coming to the Patreon meetups, which we doing in DC. But I just honestly like in most spaces that I'm sitting around, that I may get invited to or anything like that, I change a lot. You know what I'm saying? I change the spaces that I'm in. I change the things that I go into and all of that. Like I genuinely just don't be thinking that I fit in. That's why I start staying away from certain panels, honestly. Like the reason that I only do my own stuff mostly, like whether I'm doing Fight Club or I'm doing Monday Night with Q or I bring you guys up on Friday or, we do the Wednesday night stuff or whatever, I just genuinely just don't be feeling like I fit in. And sometimes I have that come to Jesus moment. I'm about to read the super chat shortly. Sometimes I have that come to Jesus moment where I just be like, I don't belong here. I was talking to Rita yesterday when I got home before I started doing a live stream, and she was telling me about something that was going on with the family. If you ever want to get a family update, you just can talk to the wife. So she was telling me about something that went on with the family, and so she was telling me the perspective of different people. And I was like, they wrong. And she was like, you think so? I said, yeah, they wrong. I don't agree with it. But everybody think that I'm off. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm on panels or I look at stuff and my mind just works a certain way, or I'm sitting around people and I'm listening, or or if I join up and then people be looking at me funny. People be looking at me funny like I'm crazy. I say something on a panel or on Monday night and they be like, why you think like that? And I be thinking to myself, why you think like that? And all of them be thinking like that, and I'm the only oddball out. I'm so used to being weird to other people. I guess the only difference now, though, is just that I'm comfortable in my weirdness so much so that I'm just not interested in fitting in anymore. I'm just going to be around all of the oddballs. And maybe I'm just off. I'll go and hit a bar. I'll hit the bar to see what the vibes is. See, like right here, MS Best said you like to be a contrarian at sometimes. No, I just be thinking that y'all wrong, and I'm just not gonna be quiet about it. I think that y'all are wrong. I think that people be absolutely wrong. And so if I'm sitting around and somebody says, yeah, man, I'm about to buzz down all these hoes, and I'll be thinking to myself, man, don't you know that they got, like, I'll say something. I'll be like, nah, that's crazy. And everybody be looking at me like, how you gonna dick police? And I'll be like, I ain't trying to dick police, bro. I'm just trying to tell you that 1 out of every 3 people that's walking around in this place got herpes. You might want to not bust her down. You might want to take your time. You might not want to be desperate. You might not want to take her back to your crib because you know that that's the easiest way for guys to get set up. And so when my mind started to work, I just can't be quiet about it. And so they say, well, you just being contrarian. No, I'm trying to save you, but I don't really want to because I know it's going to get pushed back. So I'd rather just be quiet and let y'all just jump off a bridge. But they say it's contrarian. I say that I'm being a good friend to you. And then y'all think that being a good friend is actually joining in and being kumbaya and being on bro code or being on chick code. I'm not being a contrarian. I'm just trying to tell you what it is that I see it from my perspective. Y'all like living in an echo chamber? Do y'all like being in an echo chamber where the only people that surround you is the people that agree with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to fit in. I just don't care about what other people think. I genuinely just don't care. I genuinely just don't care. And maybe I'm filtering myself out. Maybe I'm in a space where I'm just like, I want to help people. I want to do stuff. I want to give people advice, but I find that it's more effective. I told my my daughter last night because I brought her home the other Xbox and somehow something happened, whatever. I told my daughter last night, I said, you know what? I'm just going to stick to myself. When it comes to maybe content creation, I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing. I'm just going to focus 100% on what I'm doing. I don't want to have no friends. I'm not trying to network. Rita be on me all the time because famous people be hitting me up and I don't be responding all the time because I be busy. She said, This is the honest to God truth. The honest to God truth. Some of the most famous people will DM me, and I'll be like, she'll be like, did you respond to them, or did you read what they had to say? I said, no, I got the notification though. She was like, why you ain't, Anton, you missing out on opportunities. Honestly, I just don't care. I genuinely don't care to fit in. I don't necessarily need a lot of friends, and I don't care how famous you are. If I don't actually feel the vibes, or I don't feel like you're doing it genuinely or something like that, I just be like, I'd rather go to sleep. I'd rather take a nap than fly over there and hang out with you and do something I don't want to do when I don't want to do it. What I'm supposed to do? Fly over to you and flick it up? Be on the gram with you? Man, I'm 41 years old. I don't give a fuck about the gram. I already got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to clout chase. I'm not trying to really be around you. If we link up and it's just natural, then it's just natural. But I don't care. I genuinely don't care. I don't know, but I guess I'm the oddball. Anyways, again, make sure I hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats so we can rock out with the people that rock out with us. Shout out to Sir Mr. Jason. I'd rather be hanging out with the people that support me the most, not the people that's clout chasing. You know what I'm saying? I just rather hang out with my people. Shout out to Sir Mr. Jason in the building. Says, what's going on, Anton? Did you hear about Nvidia? They're now $1 trillion company. Earnings reports yesterday. I did. Nvidia's chip, I'm actually an investor in Nvidia. It's funny because I told y'all a couple years ago that I was an investor in it, and I never give y'all advice on what it is that you should do, but I tell you what it is that I'm doing, right? And so y'all be missing it. Oh, man, they down right now. I say, yo, let's ride the course, stick with it. Now the AI chip boom and all of this other type of stuff is fueling their chips or whatever like that. Their earnings reports is out of control. Yeah, I heard about it. I'm paying attention to what's going on in the markets. Said $1 trillion company earning report yesterday. Shout out to you for paying attention to what's going on with the money. I appreciate you. Shout out to my dog 72 Mercer. 72 Mercer with the 50 ball. 72 Mercer says, new to the channel, keep pouring into the community. I got y'all back. Listen, I can guarantee you, I'm never going Hollywood. No matter how much money I make, no matter how cool I get, I always am going to remember all of y'all and the people that hold me down. Even Hermes. Hermes be trying to come at me sometimes, but Hermes is always coming in here and holding it down, right? I told y'all about ASML, the company that actually that builds the machines or has the equipment to then make the semiconductor chips. I told y'all about that too. Y'all wanted to dip out. I said, no, stick around. Shout out to Kyra Netta. Shout out to my dog Kojak. All of the people that's been holding me down all this time, all of my new people, I'd rather chill out with y'all than hanging out with all of these famous people. I don't care nothing about these people, bro. I'm rolling with them. Either they going to join the bag chasers and roll out with us, or we just not rolling at all. I'd rather roll with the people that's been rocking with me all this time. Straight up. Shout out to 72 Mercer again for holding me down. Thank you for the 50 ball. Y'all the people that fuel me. Forget everybody else. Forget all of that clout chasing. We're going to make our own crew. Cliff Williams says, construction, my temperamental proclivity is to build. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Cliff, for holding me down. I'd rather roll out with Cliff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to P. Chank, said, good morning, Anton. 100% corporate. Oh, so people are rocking out and being able to get that corporate bag. Who is the master? Show Enough is in the building, says Ton God. I don't mean to get you off your program, but did you hear about Devon Franklin's Adam and Eve tank? I didn't. Send it to me. Email it to me, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. I'll react to it. If it's something worth talking about, I'll react to it. Shout out to Who's the Master. Sir Mr. Jason is in here with another 2 ball, says you was meant to stand out, not fit in. I believe that. I genuinely believe that in my heart. Also, Kev Reviews Plus in the building says, hey, Anton, what you think about investing in high-yield dividend ETFs for a stream of passive income? I don't think about it at all. I don't believe in investing in companies just because they give off a high dividend every quarter, because it doesn't necessarily mean that the fundamentals of the business is good. I invest in phenomenal companies, right? Some businesses don't necessarily give off an ETF at all. Amazon has never given off, a dividend. Amazon has never given off a dividend, right? The valuation of the company is in exponential growth of its stock. I'll give you another example. Take Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway does not issue out dividends. Some companies issue out dividends in which they, share a majority of the profits back with the shareholders. Other people reinvest it into their business, which then creates explosive growth in the stock price, right? And so the value of a company is not whether or not they issue out a high yield dividend. The value of a company is whether or not the fundamentals of the business is correct, right? You see what I'm saying? So I don't believe in that. I think that that's a strategy that doesn't give you the vision for where the company is going. And I make long-term investment decisions, not short-term to then give off a high yield. I think a lot of those companies is cap. A lot of those companies absolutely should not, and they do not even deserve to be in business. And so you got to look at the fundamentals of the company instead of looking at how much they issue out in dividends to what percentage of yield dividend is issued out into the investors. So I don't believe in that. I don't get caught up in that nonsense. I actually researched that type of stuff when I was a lot younger, in my early 20s. I found that to not to be a good strategy at all. Jeremy H., but thank you, Kev Reviews. I appreciate you. Jeremy H. says, I work in policing, and the criminal issue in Oakland is right for a criminal organization to come through and provide protection in exchange for 4 favors. Shout out to Jeremy H. I appreciate you. Also, let me give an acknowledgement to P. Shank again. P. Shank said, the reason I don't fit in with my family and friends because I live my life based off my experience versus them. They live their life based off on their parent. Shout out to P. Shank. I appreciate you, big dog. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, shout out to my people on there on Facebook. Next week, we're going to be streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's get into the show. We're going to talk about, and I want to expand into different conversations that a lot of people are not familiar with, right? In addition to the Republican debate last night, in addition to the entertainment news, in addition to the money, I also want to talk about international news, and I want to start integrating that into what it is that we talk about on a regular basis, right? Putin, Vladimir Putin. A lot of y'all say, well, Russia don't do it like we do it over the United States of America. Okay, is this what you want? All right, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Make sure y'all hit a like. I appreciate y'all.
I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised.
Do you believe?
There's not much that happened.
Reading Super Chat shortly.
Not behind, but I don't know enough to know the answer.
So that is President Biden yesterday weighing in on the plane crash in Russia that purportedly killed mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin. We're also getting a look at new images of the crash. It appear to show a part of the wing or the tail of the aircraft. It's a debris field northeast of Moscow. It stretches for more than a mile, and here's what an eyewitness said.
I heard an explosion or a bang. Usually if an explosion happens on the ground, then you get an echo. But it was just a bang, and I looked up and saw white smoke. One wing flew off in one direction, and the fuselage went like that, and then it glided down on one wing. It didn't nosedive, it was gliding. I was afraid it would fall into the village.
So Russian state media reports 10 people were on that plane. So far, only 8 bodies have been found. Also reporting from them that vans carrying the dead are now arriving at a forensic bureau. Our Nick Payton-Walsh is live in Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine, covering all of it. Obviously, Nick, what Prigozhin has said and what he did a few months ago is at the front of people's minds this morning as this happens.
Yeah, look, it's important to remind people what a seminal figure Prigozhin was in Putin's Russia. A Putin confidant used to interfere in elections in the US, allegedly extending influence in Africa, fighting on the toughest parts of the front lines here in Ukraine with his brutal Wagner force. And this plane crash, extraordinary, the information on open source about what the plane was doing, the catastrophic moment that appears to have occurred, causing it to plummet down to the earth. And as you said...
So let's break this down. Let's really put it in perspective. This guy led an uprising against Putin, which Russia is supposed to be, for all intents and purposes, some form of a democracy, right? And that they take into consideration what the people want, but they not really a democracy, right? Because anybody that has ever opposed Putin, and he's largely known for poisoning his enemies, torturing his enemies, they say that Vladimir Putin is one of the richest men on earth and that he has so much resources and so many resources that's available. They say that this man is a billionaire 200 times over. That he's a billionaire 200 times over. And this man, for all intents and purposes, led an uprising because obviously they didn't agree with who it is that Putin was. And he failed. He failed in his uprising, right? But they say he never forgot. They say Putin never forget. They say both him and his right-hand man was on a plane ride. And not only him and his right-hand man, but the other 8 people that was on that plane allegedly was taken out. They don't know if it was a bomb on the plane. They don't know if it was the Russian air defense missile system. They don't know what it was, right? But this dude is nothing to be played with. So a lot of y'all say that y'all like Putin. Why? As what I want to know. I'm not saying that you should like him. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like him. I'm asking you why. Why do you like him so much? And do you see him as the type of leader that we need here in the United States of America? Or would you continue to prefer to live in a democracy?
Yourself, the wreckage so frankly horrifying that 2 of those bodies have yet even to be found. That is part of the difficulty here of working out what indeed has really happened. Yes, Prigozhin is said by Russian officials to have been on that plane along with a coterie, frankly, of his inner henchmen in Wagner. Extraordinary that they put themselves all on the same plane. It suggests perhaps they felt that after the failed armed rebellion 2 months ago that the threat potentially against them from Putin's inner circle may have diminished. But it is remarkable to see these images of the wreckage spread over a mile-wide area and mourning already occurring amongst Wagner followers on Telegram channels and indeed outside Wagner's headquarters. No final confirmation of his death, but that is something we'll only frankly hear from Russian state officials and Russian media, and they are in the service of Vladimir Putin, the man who Prigozhin crossed like no one else has done in the last 23 years in which Putin has been in power. So a stark moment for Vladimir Putin, potentially. Whoever was behind this plane crash, fingers are being pointed at him here.
Sherelle Riley says, Putin is not spineless. We need that over here. I don't think so. I'm of the complete opposite perspective. It's not that I think that he's not spineless, but I think that Putin actually works for the best interest of himself, not necessarily the best interest of his people. And that's the difference, right? You can be a strong leader, but at the same time, are you a strong leader with the right interests and working on the behalf of the people? See, let me tell y'all the difference between leadership, right? Leadership and just strong people. It's strong people all the way across the board, right? It's strong people all the way across the board. It's people that's going to fight on the side that you don't like, and it's people that's going to... It's a strong leader that's on the side or have completely different opposite or an opposite perspective than you do. Brock said it correctly. You got to be careful what you ask for. Right? His philosophy or his steadfast perspective or position on what it is that he believes may be something that we like when it comes to being a strong man, but at what cost? What if you're on the wrong side of that perspective? What if, right? Because it's a lot of places where you can go. You can't even mention a person's name in a negative way and not be called treasonous, not be considered a traitor. It's one thing to be strong and not spineless, but it's another thing to be strong, not spineless, and be on the wrong end or the wrong side of what right and wrong is, right? Because you can still be strong, but then at the same time strong based off of what? Most great men, in my opinion, do it on the behalf of the people. They're not doing it just to enrich themselves. If they then become successful as a result of it, that's just a residual effect of whatever it is that they chasing, right? But at the same time, you have to be strong, but actually doing the thing that we feel like is in the best interest of the people, not just in the best interest of yourself. And so that's a completely different perspective. You know what I'm saying? You still have to have a level of empathy and compassion. And once you lose that empathy and compassion, you become a monster. Let's continue.
Here in Ukraine and also in Russia too, suggesting this was essentially Putin's revenge. No evidence for that, but it would entirely be in keeping, frankly, with Putin's conduct in the past. He's poisoned, allegedly, critics, taken out critics for much lesser offences than that which Prigozhin was guilty of, and the fact Prigozhin seemed to be at liberty for 2 months startled many. A key moment, though, because this is clearly Putin, perhaps, thinking...
Let's read this. The dude has known Putin since the 90s, known as Putin's chef, had lucrative catering contracts with the Kremlin, founded Wagner, fought against Ukraine for Russia, became an outspoken critic of Russia's military, complained of insufficient support from the Kremlin, and led a rebellion against the Kremlin in June. And now, it's over. It's 100% over.
Putin's biggest enemy appears to have been eliminated. Yevgeny Prigozhin, who led the attempted coup back in June, is now dead after the jet that he was flying in crashed, according to a group linked to the Wagner Group. This is video of Prigozhin's plane. You see it here falling out of the sky minus one of its wings. A large trail of smoke billowing behind it. There were 9 other people on board that jet, which was at a cruise altitude of 28,000 feet before it disappeared from radar. Video from the ground showing the jet's debris burning. So far, no word on what caused the plane, which was traveling from Moscow to St. Petersburg, to go down. But U.S. intelligence is now most likely trying to determine if there was an explosion inside of the plane or if there was a flash on the ground, which could suggest that it was hit by a missile. So far, Putin is not commenting on the crash. We have a lot to get to tonight. I want to start with Fred Pleitgen. Fred, what more are you learning about the crash that is said to have killed this leader of the Wagner Group?
Hi there, Brianna. Well, the Russians are saying that the investigators that are on the scene there are actually still working and trying to gather evidence. They say that they're looking at multiple scenarios as to what might have happened to the plane, including mechanical error, but of course also, as they put it, tampering with the aircraft as well. And of course, it's no secret that Yevgeny Prigozhin more than fell out of favor with Vladimir Putin. In fact, Vladimir Putin called some of the actions of Prigozhin treasonous. Now, of course, right now, it's unclear what exactly happened to the plane, who was behind it, but there are very few who believe that it could have been an accident. Here's what we're learning.
Probably the last moments of Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin. This jet, an Embraer Legacy 600 seen falling from the sky, a wing appearing to be missing. Russian authorities confirming Prigozhin was on board the aircraft. CNN is unable to confirm the authenticity of this video, but RIA Novosti claimed it was the moment that an Embraer jet fell from the sky in the Tver region north of Moscow.
You know, the interesting thing about this is that you got to be, I think that it's always learned lessons that's beyond whatever it is that we look at from a political perspective that we have to take into consideration, right? And I think that the biggest learned lesson for me personally is you have to be careful with A, who you align with, and B, who you go against. A, who you align with, and B, who you go against, because it is definitely 100% going to be consequences and repercussions that come along with your actions. I think that even as content creators a lot of times, and even when we look at what happened with Fresh and Fit, I largely believe that the beginning of their downfall was when they started to do things based off of the beefs that they had, and they started to bring unwanted attention to themselves. Ultimately, it led to their downfall because they got into a specific situation where they couldn't walk away from, and so as a result, it drove them to do things that they wouldn't normally do under regular circumstances. And so it's always easier to be safe if you're not prepared for the consequences that come along with your actions. It's people that take this stuff serious. And so when you see it happening at the highest levels, This just actually shows the human nature of who people are. People will do anything and go to any length to protect or to address what it is that they feel like is an egregious offense against them. And if at any point you turn against them, they will find you and they will not forget about you. And you will never have a night where you can sleep, where you are 100% comfortable. And are you prepared to be able to live that life? Who is Carlos Thomas and what is he talking about in there? I just believe that the best leaders always have I think that the best leaders always have the best interests of the people. I think that at some point, most people get corrupted once they get to a certain level. Watch this. So let me read. I like interacting with the chat. Somebody said, come on, Anton. There's not a government on earth that's benevolent. The U.S. will give you the perception of that. But behind the curtain, if you don't comply or align, we know what happens. Okay. So let me ask you a question. In what place can you go to on earth outside of the United States where we are free to be able to say and criticize our federal government in a general sense without repercussion? What place on earth can you go to where I can hold Biden's feet to the front of the congregation or Trump or Obama or any one of these guys, right? And I know that there's things like that happen behind the scenes to certain people that's powerful or whatever, so on and so forth. But where else can you go? Where else can you go to where you can actually have a conversation openly? Because I see a lot of y'all always complaining about where it is that we live at in the United States of America. But let's be clear, as bad as it is here, as bad as it is over there in Oakland or Sacramento and Portland and Seattle and Chicago and the red zone in Detroit and Miami, wherever it is that you go, where else can you go to where you are free to then be able to run up the bag, but at the same time be able to criticize your leaders? It ain't perfect here. Nobody ever said that it was perfect. Far from perfect. But I'd be damned if you can sit here and have a conversation about things that you don't necessarily agree with openly and live in a democracy where we have term limits, at least with the presidency. And then we also have layers of government, which they may be, corrupt. But at the same time, I'm trying to understand where it is that you can go to where you have a better opportunity, can still earn money and still not necessarily be executed for your opinions or your thoughts. You have anything to say about what it is that's going on in China, it's out. They don't even care if you're a billionaire. If you have a difference of opinion of what's going over in there in Russia, you out. Don't even care. They say, Anton, do you realize that there's 123 countries that have free speech? I don't think that any of them is even remotely as good as the United States of America. That's a fact. That is absolutely a fact. And just because they say that they have free speech don't necessarily mean that they really have free speech. Let's be honest. Come on, man. Let's be real. So as much as we have smoke for and as much as we criticize what's going on here in the United States of America, the alternative is infinitely worse. And I don't see any of y'all moving over there. I don't see nobody trying to go over to Russia and move over there since y'all think that he's making that much sense. Go on over there in Russia and see what happened. I don't even want to visit Russia. I'm not even interested in visiting Russia. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So y'all can criticize it if you want to, but that's what's happening over there in Russia. Let me read a few of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show because I want to get into this debate, and then I want to move over into Shannon Sharp and so on and so forth. Mr. Maximus says, you're going to discuss Pittsburgh. Ninja had a shootout with the police because he refused to be evicted from his apartment. I'm not familiar with that. Send that to me in my email. AntonDaniels413@gmail.com, and I'll check it out. Thank you, Mr. Maximus. I appreciate you. My dog, Fi Brown, is in the building. Shout out to Fi Brown. Fi Brown says, yo, Anton, absolutely feel you on the oddball talk. I embrace it because I realize that us as blacks are trained from birth to run in the victim Olympics, but bag chasers don't. So that we're always going to seem odd to the masses. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think that you are absolutely right, Fi Brown. And I'm okay with being an oddball. Shout out to 1/3. Hit us with the 5-ball and said 1/3. Continuing to read super chats throughout the show. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to support the platform. Let's continue, and then I'll be reading it out throughout the show. The Republican debate. Did any of you or are any of you familiar with what's going on with the Republican debate? I know a lot of y'all were tuned into what it is that we were talking about last night, but the beautiful part about restreaming and YouTube and then other platforms is that you have the opportunity to be able to watch it afterwards. I did watch it. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a lot of it and I caught the highlights and I tried to get the best context as I could as far as understanding who was going on, who was running, and what their positions were, right? And I was listening a lot of it on this morning when I was getting ready and when I was driving into the office today. I'm curious, did y'all catch any of the debate yesterday? Ever since my man went on the Breakfast Club, he been in savage mode. Ever since my man went on the Breakfast Club, he's absolutely been on a tear. Good grief. Shout out to y'all. Here's some of the highlights from the debate, and then I'm going to share with you some of the thoughts from the Iowa voters as to what it is that they think about what happened in the debate. Make sure that y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and also on top of that, make sure that you hit that link for the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's rock out.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
You see how slow some of these people raise their hands? In my opinion, body language is the best way for you to be able to determine whether or not somebody actually means what they say or how they're communicating effectively with you. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. But he's the first one to raise his hand. Now, it doesn't matter about whether or not he's right or wrong in this instance. It shows that he's able to make a definitive decision and he's not on a fence. He's not trying to field or feel out whether or not other people are on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence or whether or not he can get the audience on his side. He's just saying what he's meaning and he's meaning what he says, and he's the first one to raise his hand. Now, obviously, we know Trump couldn't be a part of this because he's facing 91 charges. 91 charges. Come on, man. If this is not a finesse, I don't know what is. Trump is facing 91 charges. Come on, man. If this ain't a finesse, if this ain't them trying to get him up out of there because they know that he has a certain level of support amongst people, I don't know what is. I told y'all that they was going to come for this man. I told y'all that they was going to come hard. Pause for Trump. But the context of the question in which they asked, would you still support Trump if he was the Republican nominee? And then they all raised their hands. It was based off of, and this is why y'all want to watch the whole thing. I'm showing y'all the highlights, but this is why y'all want to watch the whole thing. It was based off of the idea that every candidate on the stage had signed a pledge that said that whoever it was that was the Republican nominee, they would pledge their support behind them after all of these primaries are done. And so then when he asked the rest of the question, and I'm going to play it again for those of y'all so y'all can get the full context. When they asked the question, would you guys support Trump if he was the Republican nominee? People were slow to raise their hands, and there was even one person that eventually didn't raise their hand. But let's continue. I'm going to play it again for you guys.
In a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
Pence was slow to it. Put their hands down really fast. Vivek is squeezing his hand up.
So just
my man all the way on the left never raised his hand at all, even though he signed the pledge. All right? A lot of these guys just can't read the room.
Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but
no,
you
I'm doing this.
And
not
I know
this.
you didn't.
Whoa. Look, here's the bottom line. Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States.
We have to look at the fact.
I think that Chris Christie made a splash last night. I think that he emerged from the pack to actually have a position and stand on something. And he became more noticeable when everybody else just kind of fell into the background. Now, this woman right here, first of all, I don't even think a woman should be on stage. I know a lot of y'all not going to agree with me, right? I know a lot of y'all not going to stand on that. I know a lot of y'all believe that women's supposed to be in leadership positions to the point to where she's over there negotiating and trying to figure out how it is that she can go against Putin. But I don't believe that this woman can stand up against the Communist Party over in China, that Putin would give her any level of respect, that South Africa would respect her at all whatsoever. I do not believe that this woman in any way, shape, or form, just from the simple fact that she should not be on this stage. I'm sorry, y'all. She should not be on this stage. I'm not even checking for her. I'm not even taking it serious. She seemed like a panderer the entire time. She seemed like she was trying to gain or glean some level of support and visibility and stand out amongst a bunch of men that was besting her all night long. Yeah, I know she was an ambassador. That don't mean nothing to me. I know that she was an ambassador, but that does not mean anything. Somebody said, am I Don Lemon 2.0? No, I'm Anton Daniels, and can't nobody fire me because I don't work for CNN. I don't work for CNN. And if CNN knew what was in their best interest, they would be trying to offer me a bag to do the Millionaire Morning Show on CNN. Come holla at me, CNN. Come holla at me, CNN. Come on, man. Come and get that bag up so I can get y'all ratings back popping. But I don't. I don't think that a woman deserves to even be in certain leadership positions. And that's where I stand. It's funny. You know what's so funny? First, y'all was talking about the fact that y'all like Putin because he's not spineless. And now you want to come against me because I'm standing for what it is that I believe in and saying that I don't think women should be in a position of leadership, that their inherent nature is to be helpmeets, such as what it is that's illustrated inside of the word that I believe in, the Bible. So now that I stand on something, right, y'all looking at me funny and acting like I'm crazy because I don't believe that women deserve or that they should be even in a position of leadership because that's just not their inherent nature. They're nurturers, not monsters. We monsters. And in a lot of instances, we need to be monsters. We have to be monsters because that's what it takes in order to secure your freedom or to secure your protection. Or we have to turn into the very thing that we got to defend you against. But now all of a sudden, you don't want somebody that's spineless. You want somebody with the go along, get along gang. Come on, man. Which one you want? Which one you want? Either you want the person that's going to stand up for what he really stands for, or you want the person that's going to acquiesce over into whatever it is that you feel like at that particular time. Come on, man.
That 3/4 of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden.
Come on, man. Get that Hillary Clinton outfit up out of here, bro. Get that Hillary Clinton outfit up out of here. Leah said, she seems more competent than Kamala. I don't want Kamala in there either. I don't want Kamala in there either. I do not believe women need to be on the pulpit. I don't think they need to be sitting here negotiating as the president of the United States or vice president for that meaning. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that they should be doing any of this stuff. I believe that they should be butt naked in the kitchen, cooking up that meal and rubbing on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Real talk.
And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
Here's the thing. This election is not about January 6th of.
I think that DeSantis, He fell flat during the debate. I like him, and I like his ability to be able to manage states and what he stand on. But I think he didn't stand out, and I thought that he lost his debate he really lost his debate last night.
2021. It's about January 20th of 2025 when the next president is going to take office.
Look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
Your watch, so the reality is, America less safe. You have no foreign policy.
You want this woman over talking you? Do you want this woman over talking you inside of the White House? Do you want this lady with this, I don't even know what color that shirt is or what it is. What the hell is that? Is that a blouse? What is it? Do you want this woman sitting here trying to negotiate with Vladimir Putin, and he going to be looking at her and she looking at him, and he looking at her and she looking at him, and he don't have no respect for her whatsoever? Won't even let this man respond at all. I'm sorry, ladies. We just don't look at y'all the same. We don't look at y'all with the same vigor as y'all think that y'all see yourselves. Y'all see yourselves as this big bad bully, and we see you as a little bitty puppy. A little bitty puppy with a small bite. We do not see y'all the same way that y'all see yourselves. That's the honest to God truth.
Experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
I've had enough. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
This is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Playing the woman card. Playing the woman card all day long. When you start losing, then you go ahead and get the sisterhood on your side. Come on, man. Get this woman up off the stage, bro. I don't even want to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you quoting Margaret Thatcher. I'm not interested. That just shows me that you're not prepared to be the president of the United States. Could you imagine? Could you imagine this woman being the president of the United States, fam? Honest to God. Could you imagine this woman being the president of the United States of America? Come on, man. Stop it, bro. Get this woman up off my stage, bro. I don't want to see that. Well, anyways, CNN, and I'm going to use a completely opposite instead of just showing you the highlights because we got a minimal amount of time and we got multiple subjects to cover. CNN, and which I want to show y'all an alternative platform, and I always believe that if you want to get to the source of something, then you use two comparative platforms in order to illustrate a point. So I'm gonna show y'all what CNN did, and that they polled, or they brought into the room a bunch of people that watched the 2-hour debate, and they got the insight as to what it is that they thought about who really stood out inside of the debate. All right, y'all should go and watch it on your own, become informed voters. Don't just look at the highlights here. I'm just giving you my opinion in particular, but y'all should be informed and go and find out exactly what was communicated during this debate yourselves. But let me go ahead and show that for you guys, and then we're gonna go forward.
Anderson, we come to you from the heart of Iowa, the geographic center, Story County, Iowa, where we're going to tell you the story of this Republican debate from the vantage point of 15 loyal Story County Republicans, all a member of the Story County Republican Club, or the Young Republicans of Iowa. Thank you for letting us be here with you today to watch the debate. Thank you, everybody. All right, we watched all 2 hours.
Hold on, let me profile these people really quickly. You know, we got to do more on a morning show than just hear what people say in particular. All right, so it looks like they told everybody in there, hey, wear your work clothes or wear the thing that you wear, that you look like at 5 p.m. You know, I'm not going for this. I'm just not easily finessed. I'm genuinely not going for this. So look at it. Look. We got a guy with a cowboy hat on in the back. Our Time Is Now t-shirt with some with the hoochie daddy shorts. We got the woman with the nursing outfit on, look like she just came from the hospital. A guy with bell-bottom blue jeans on, that's all the way to the right. We got the frumpy lady in the front with the white shirt on with her stomach sticking out. She not even holding in her stomach. We got the foreigner, the guy that looks like a foreigner, or he's going to be the man of color. Not one black guy is up there, but we got the man of color up there on the left-hand side. His stomach is sticking out. He got the short sleeve shirt on and the hoochie daddy shorts, and he's wearing the typical, I'm going to have my toes out, but it's the summertime, but it's cold outside, but I'm still going to be looking like it is that I work at 7-Eleven. All right. You got the nerd that could be pro-life, could not be pro-life. He may stand on something, or he may be a Republican that also believes in supporting the alphabet community. And then next to the lady with the white shirt on that's got her stomach out, you got the guy with the white hair. You got all of the young people in the back, right? They're probably very, very fervent Trump supporters in the back. You got the guy that looks like a hunter. He got the hunter hat on, and then he got the Jesus cross on. If this is not the prototypical, let me put this panel together in order to be able to get these paid actors to be able to have this conversation and communicate their thoughts, I don't know what is, man. Come on, man. Honest to God, bro. Listen, I have not played this before. I'm looking at this. I have to start profiling the same way that I profiled a guy that's got the hoodie on that's walking down the street, that then, that I got to lock my doors or maybe cross the street or go back in the house. No way in the world are you going to convince me that this is not the prototypical, I put this panel together full of paid actors, told them to wear their clothes that they would wear at 5 o'clock when they get off of work so that we can make this more realistic and be able to have a conversation about Iowa voters and what they thought about the Republican debate. Stop it, bro. I'm apt to not even watch what the replies is. I could probably tell you what they gonna say before they say it. I mean, I don't know if anybody actually stood out amongst the field. I can't say that I know who I'm gonna cast my vote for yet, but I definitely like that this person stood out. I mean, listen, I'm a Bible-loving, Bible-quoting, and I round up hogs for a living, and I'm trying to understand who's going to be the best supporter of my interests down here in Texas. Hey, man, I'm in Oklahoma City, and it's a lot of things that's changing down here, and I'm looking for the right candidate that's going to go ahead and secure our borders, because I don't know what's going to become of our children in the future. Hi, I'm a nurse, but I'm definitely a Trump supporter because my husband died in 2021 during the pandemic, and I don't like how it is that they handled the pandemic in order to enable them to be able to go against us, and now they're leveraging all of these things against Trump, and I'm looking for the candidate. If Trump doesn't get in office, I don't know who is. And I'm telling you, man, I can write this script like never before. I can absolutely write this script like never before. All right, let's see what they got to say. I profiled everybody. Let's see what they got to say.
All right. We watched all 2 hours very carefully. The first question I want to ask all of you, do you think this debate was good for the Republican Party? Raise your hand if you do.
Oh, it was an excellent debate. I'm not sure if we really learned anything any different, but we certainly had some people that stood out of the crowd. It was a good, entertaining debate. I really think that it resonated with the people.
15 people. Looks like 13 raised their hand. You two did not think it was good for the party?
No.
Why not, Jim?
It brought up a lot more division and stuff, but I still think
typical.
It was worth the time.
Okay, you thought it was good for the party, though.
Yes, it was great for the party. Great to have a conversation with Iowans and people across the United States.
Did I not profile these people correctly? Did I not profile these people correctly? You got the guy with the lisp. that got the glasses on, the wireframe glasses that probably got teased in school, but he's definitely a mama's boy, and he's definitely going to stick with the Republican Party. I don't know if it did anything but bring more division. However, it was definitely good for the party to be able to hear the conversation, and I think some people stood out. Man, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you that I know what's going on here. This is the prototypical, come on, man.
To see who our next leader will be for the Republican Party.
Okay, of these 15 people, 14 say they're still undecided at this point. Jim, who we just talked to,
Did I not say that they were still going to be undecided voters in the Iowa election?
He says he's ready to vote for Trump right now. And here's what I want to ask you about. Who you thought did the best during this debate? Basically, who do you think won the debate? I'm going to do it in alphabetical order to be fair. Anyone think Doug Burgum did the best?
Who?
That's 0. Anyone think Chris Christie did the best? He certainly got most of the airtime. A lot of the airtime, not most of the airtime. How about Ron DeSantis? How many of you think Ron DeSantis did the best? That's 2 people. How about Nikki Haley? 1, 2, 3, 4 people.
Yep, definitely was going to get the women to get on her side. And the ultra forward-thinking progressive conservatives.
Asa Hutchinson? Mike Pence? 0. Vivek Ramaswamy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tim Scott. Okay, so this panel here thinks Ramaswamy won the debate. Tell me why you think he won the debate.
I was reminded of the time when Vivek was talking about the national identity situation.
What a surprise. The one person that's potentially of color on the panel is supporting Vivek. And he comes to him with the microphone. Why do you think that he won? Come on, CNN. Get me on there. Give me my $30 million so I can fix your network.
And I know Pence brought up that that wasn't really an issue, but I think it was a generational problem because Vivek understands that young folks don't really understand that people my age don't really love America, and if you don't love it, you can't protect it. And I think if we fix that problem, then people will, as a natural byproduct, want to protect America and what it stands for.
This guy sitting next to you is the mayor of Nevada, the town that we're in. This is Brett Barker. Mayor, you picked Nikki Haley. She came in 2nd place in our informal, non-scientific poll here. Tell me why you think she'd win.
Well, I think out of all the candidates, she really had moments that stood out. I don't think she had moments that harmed her, and she came across as poised and confident and prepared. And I think out of the candidates, I think she helped herself the most tonight.
What did I tell y'all? You know what? Out of everybody, I think that they didn't say anything to hurt themselves, but this person stood out amongst the pack, and she did the thing that didn't help, that didn't hurt her. Listen, I guarantee you that this guy is happy wife, happy life. He's the mayor of a small town. He's probably the former coordinator of the HOA fees. His background stands to be, if you don't pay your HOA fees on time, he's coming to collect, buddy. And if you have one more car in your driveway than what the homeowners association said that you can have in your driveway, I'm coming for you and I'm going to put a lien on your house, buddy. I'm coming for you and I'm going to put a lien on your house, buddy. Mayor of a small town of 200, making sure that we get our HOA fees together, and I like Nikki Haley.
Chris Christie talked a lot. He was anti-Trump. Tell me why you didn't like what Chris Christie had to say.
He was just argumentative, pretty much, and out after Trump.
Listen, ma'am, you and Chris Christie both go to the same donut shop on a regular basis, all right? So I would think that you would align more with Chris Christie than anybody else. Y'all both got the same barber and you both go to the same donut shop. Don't sit here and talk negative about Chris Christie, ma'am. I know a Chris Christie supporter when I see one.
You don't think there was any logic to what he said, though?
I think it was a lot of revenge.
A lot of revenge. Okay. What do you think, any of you, was the big moment of this debate? Any of you have a big moment in mind? This gentleman right here, I'm going to walk over to you. Excuse my reach, Jim. Sorry about that.
Are we going to talk to the young guys now? We're gonna get the young people's perspective on what the fuck is going on with these debates.
For me, it was when DeSantis let Vivek get to his right on Ukraine. And if DeSantis' whole goal here is to beat Trump, he's going to have to meet Trump on that issue. And so ultimately, if DeSantis is willing to do that, then I see Vivek as the clear winner there.
So does anyone here, as I was saying, 14 of you were undecided when this started. Are any of you, after one debate, closer to saying, I know who I'm going to vote for? Raise your hand if you're a little bit closer. This gentleman right here, tell me who you're closer to voting for.
Uh-oh. Did I profile him correctly?
Or supporting in the Iowa caucuses.
He's either going to go with the woman, Nikki Haley, or he's going to go with Vivek.
There's a few, probably Nikki Haley and Donald.
I'm going to go with Nikki Haley. You know, because I'd love to see a woman break through that glass ceiling that Hillary Clinton was beating through, that Kamala Harris is right on the cusp of getting to. And I guarantee you that if it was Kamala Harris or Nikki Haley, I'd probably go with Nikki, but I wouldn't have a problem with Kamala.
Donald Trump. And then also Vivek Ramaswamy. I think that he kind of went in there as a bulldog a little bit, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Who else raised their hand about that? This gentleman right here. Once again, excuse me.
How did this country get so soft?
Who are you closer to supporting in the caucuses?
So for me, I'm closer to Vivek. I mean, just the more and more I've heard of this guy, I'm one of the people, I knew nothing about him, didn't even know he existed, thought he had a funny name. Then the more and more I've heard of this guy, the more it's like he has good opinions, he has good policies, he says a lot of what he believes, and he's willing to discuss that with people if they disagree with him, and I really respect that. And I think
That's the only guy I like on here. Is the natural bred, blonde-haired, blue-eyed video game player that probably works in corporate America because his father got him a job there, and understand that America is a debtor nation and that he's never going to have to pick up a forklift in his life. He's never going to have to step on a forklift in his life. And he understands it. Listen, I didn't know who this guy was. And his name sounded funny, but the more I listened to him and the more I started to pay attention to his policies, it just made sense. He's more aligned with Trump than I thought he was.
I mean, Chris Christie and Mike Pence had quibbles with him. They thought he was a little programmed. Does that mean anything to you that they said that?
I don't know. I feel like Chris Christie especially is just kind of there to be a human wrecking ball and just kind of knock people out of the race.
This gentleman was nodding his head. Did you think so?
Yeah, I honestly didn't know too much
I didn't even profile this guy. Is this the Brokeback Mountain Cowboy?
Vivek before. I know he's flip-flopped on a couple issues thus far. I appreciated him getting into it with both Pence as well as Chris Christie because I thought they made him look kind of fake and kind of just like he wants to go with whatever the top polling issue is. That's what he wants to do at the time.
Final question for you, and this man...
Why does all white people have lisps?
...wasn't at the debate. His name is Donald Trump, so we wanted to devote most of our time to the people who were at the debate. But how many of you think Donald Trump hurt himself by not being part of this debate? Raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of you think he helped himself by not being at the debate? Most of you. Why do you think he helped himself? And this is Deborah. She's the leader of the Young Republicans here, the chapter here, the Iowa Young Republicans. Tell me why you think he helped himself.
I think he helped himself just because he wasn't able to say anything that people would use against him in the general election. And he's able to kind of run off his record and not worry about being seen as bombastic or something negative.
Thank you, Deborah. And thank you, all of you, for talking to us. We really appreciate watching this.
All right, so there you have it. There was a general idea of who the people are that is going to determine who gets voted into office next. I would suggest, and the reason that I did this is not only because I wanted to report on what was going on with the debate itself and to give you guys a general update of what's going on with the election, but to also inspire you guys to participate in the election process, not just from the national, but also from the local level, because you don't want other people that we then have to stereotype and profile that don't even know what they're talking about to be the ones that determine who it is that's going to govern you going forward, because it is important. Listen, I know a lot of y'all don't think that it's important, but it's absolutely important. 100% important. 100% important for you guys to get involved in what's going on and not only just vote, right? But I need you guys to understand the policies, understand who's going to be participating in this election. What is it that they're trying to pass? What do they stand on, right? What is their general position on certain issues that mean the most to you? If you are not going to participate in the election process, because I know that there's a lot of people that say, well, my vote is not going to count. Well, then you're not going to be able to come up here and complain about what it is that's happening in your country, because you're going to let feminists, you're going to let cowboys You're going to have progressive liberals and progressive Republicans, then be determining what's going to happen for you and your children going forward. All right? Educate yourself, participate in the process. I'd rather live with what the bag chasers is going to pick than what it is that these people are going to pick, right? And these are the people from Iowa. All right? So let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. We got a full show that we got to tackle today. We going to Jupiter says, hey, Anton, do you think it's too late to keep DCA NVIDIA? I think you should hold whatever it is that you invest in. Whatever it is that you invest in, look to invest in it for the next 10 to 15 years. Whatever it is that you invest in, if you think it's a phenomenal company, then let the fundamentals of the company determine whether or not you're going to invest in it. Not what it is that is spiking up to or what it's running up to right now. Let the fundamentals of the company determine what it is that you're going to invest in, not anything else. All right? Shout out to you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And if you guys need more insight on that, make sure you look at the video that I dropped inside of the Patreon of the 8 things that I look for when I'm looking to invest in a company. Izzy the man said, don't ever change AD. You were meant to stand out. I'm 26 and I feel the same most times, and I'm okay with that. Look at that. The young bulls is over there giving me advice and helping me to understand how I need to move. I appreciate that. Danny Starr says, Shannon Sharp is joining the First Take September 4th. Can I get my money? Y'all didn't want to bet, but I'm going to break that down. We're going to get to that shortly. Absolutely. David X is in the building, says, running in the Victim Olympics like Special Olympics. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for holding me down. DJ Kane in the building says, Biden was the best president we've ever had. Nah, I'm trolling. Have a great day, amigos. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for continuing to hold me down. Thank you to everybody that contributes into the platform. Make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Link is in the description. Also, on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as put to the top of the chat. Oh, my God. What the hell is going on with the likes before we get into the other stuff? Did I miss something? Did I miss something? Is there something wrong with the likes? Do we got to go over into that new Teach? 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Are we going to the new Teach, or are we going to continue to rock out? Are we going to continue to cook up? All right. All right. Fi Brown hit me once, said, did you see the viral clip of Vivek answering the lady asking him about the alphabet community? I just sent it to you. Only 2 minutes. If you have time to cover it, it was gold. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Let me check that out. Maybe I'll cover it tomorrow. I'll absolutely check that out. Shout out to my dog, Fi Brown. I appreciate you guys. Let's continue on. Get the likes up. Well, I don't know what we doing. Nia Long. Now, I anticipated covering Nia Long last night, but I didn't feel compelled to really even address it at all. I didn't feel compelled to be able to address it at all because I don't know, man. I don't know. I have my thoughts about Nia Long. I'll share them with you quickly before we get to the money and before we get to Shannon Sharp. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and break this down. So Nia Long, I had been hearing that she had went back to my man Ime Udoka, right? But I never reported on it because I didn't see it as a story and I wasn't really sure, and I don't really operate off of rumors. But now they're saying that Nia Long has filed for full custody because now she's throwing the man under the bus, that is the father, saying that he has failed to provide support for their son. Now, before we get over to Nia Long, we really got to address what's going on with Ime Udoka. All right? So Ime Udoka has landed on his feet. Now, when Boston, right, for a lot of you guys, when Boston let him go because allegedly he was piping down different women inside of the organization or whatever, not necessarily women that was on the court, but allegedly it was said that he was piping down some vice president's chick or something like that, right? And they let him go. And I was one of the people that was skeptical about the possibility of him being able to secure another position, right? But I guess for men and great men, talent always wins. Talent always wins. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Thank you, Latrell. And so let me give y'all an update because I know a lot of the ladies don't necessarily watch sports unless y'all sitting courtside with Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Let me bring you up to speed of what happened with him, right? So he lost his job in Boston, but he landed back on his feet in Houston. Y'all know Houston like black people. I know that Texas is red, but Houston is blue. Blue balls over in Houston. And Houston Rockets coach Ime Udoka signed his contract to become the 16th coach in the Rockets history late Tuesday night. And this is back earlier in the year. Agreeing to a deal that will pay him $28.5 million across the next 4 seasons. Now, if my math serves me correct, that's a little bit over $7 million a year. Let's see, 7, 14, 21, 28. Yeah, $7 million a year. 28 divided by 4 is $7 million a year. My man landed on his feet, got a guaranteed contract for the next 4 years right after she left him. She said she couldn't take it. She said, listen, I'm not dealing with no man that cheating. I don't even have no new movies coming up. However, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. And so Ime said, all right, okay. You want to leave? You want to leave when I got a little bit of box? I'm going to land on my feet anyway. And he got $28.5 million in order to substantiate that argument. All right? Over the next 4 seasons. Let's continue. Let's break down his salary. 45 years old, going to earn $6.75 million in 2023-24. $250,000 increase every season after that, culminating in a salary of $7.5 million for the 26-27 season. His deal is notable given Houston's previous coaching hire, Tillman and Steven Silas received a contract with only a guaranteed 3 years guaranteed, with a team option for the 4th that was not picked up in order to bring in Ime. So what y'all don't understand is that winning is more important than what it is that your character is for a lot of these places and organizations. He got a little bit of box. They said, we're not tripping off of that. Can you get our players over there to the championship like you did that year before? You know what I'm saying? Can you get our people over to the championship on the year before? All right, let's go back to Nia Long, okay? So here's the scoop on Nia. And I know a lot of women was feeling a certain type of way. I see a lot of the women. Women ain't even interested in sports. But ain't it ironic that they had so much to say in reporting on Ime Udoka, especially after Nia Long filed for full custody? I heard and I seen some of y'all put the title inside of y'all emails that I have not checked yet, some of y'all. And y'all was saying that the women was upset about the fact that he got that contract. And more importantly, they were in support of the idea that she filed for full custody. It says actor Nia Long said her ex Houston Rockets coach Ime. You like that? Houston Rockets. No, put some respect on his name. Houston Rockets head coach. Houston Rockets head coach has failed to provide support for their 11-year-old son. Who's the loser in this whole situation? Who's the loser in this situation? I know a lot of y'all going to say, well, it's Nia Long that's losing in this situation. She left the man and he went ahead and got his bag anyway and so on and so forth. Y'all got to remember that they was not married. They was in a situationship, a long-term situationship. They were not married at all. No alimony, no none of that. Now she wants to file. You are right, Connie. The son is the one. Anastasio Rodriguez, the son. Bam Bam said the son. Brandy said the kid, the child, the son, the son, the son. Y'all got it. See, I knew my bag chasers was on top of things. And court documents obtained by the show business outlet Long requested legal and physical custody of him while allowing for reasonable visitation for Udoka consistent with the child's best interest. Now, isn't it ironic that they were never married? Let's come back to that. They were never married, right? Meaning that as long as she was living with him being supported by him, being taken care of by him, that she was okay with the idea of never ever filing for full custody. Remember, let's say it again. They were never married, but as long as she was living under his covering and being able to be taken care of by him, it was cool. But the minute that she found out that he was D'ing down, see, he was a good enough father. Let's take out of context the idea that he cheated, all right? Because that has no bearing on his ability to be able to be a great father and participate in his child's life. He was good enough to be shared custody. He was good enough to have to all of this stuff for the last 11 years that they had him. Trendy Lock says they were engaged. Cap. Let me put on another cap. Every time I see y'all lie, I'm going to put on another cap. Trendy Lock said that they was engaged. That's cap. I'm so tired of y'all women lying to us and telling us that y'all engaged. Every woman that I talk to that supposedly got a boyfriend that's knocking it down keep telling me about how she engaged. Cap. So she was engaged for the last 13 years? Wait. Are you telling me that she was engaged for the last 13 years? I call cap. But she was engaged for 13 years, though. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, Trendy Locks. You better than this. You're better than your circumstance. You're better than your environment. You're better than Instagram, Trendy Locks. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, baby girl. I heard that he actually wanted to marry her and she turned him down. I heard that he actually wanted to marry her and she turned him down. So then she let what was happening in social media and the public disposition get to her, and so she decided to leave the relationship. Okay, cool. Nobody is stopping you. We also acknowledge the fact that whatever agreement that y'all had, apparently he broke that agreement by sleeping with another chick. I'm not even going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you down for that. Cool. But why was he good enough for shared custody and not to have any kind of visitation or anything prior to you actually being taken care of him, but now all of a sudden he's receiving no support? No, let's be clear. You're not receiving any support because you're not entitled to any support because you were not married and you don't get alimony. And so as a result, because he's not giving you any money and you're over here talking to the press and now you filing paperwork, you don't feel like he was a good enough father, or you don't feel like he's given enough money in order to be able to take care of the child. But nobody told you to leave. Nobody told you to leave. How was he a good enough father? This has nothing to do with his infidelity. I'm sure she was in there cussing him out and doing stuff that she wasn't supposed to do, but we don't know nothing about that because he ain't said nothing. How was he not a good enough father? Prior to you leaving, he was taking care of everything. Now he's not offering enough support, so I need full custody. This is a play, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care how much y'all like Nia Long. I don't care how much she y'all queen. I don't care how much she's one of the women that you admire and you always wanted her since you've seen her in The Best Man and all of this other type of stuff, right? My question is this. Are all of them the same and then they turn bitter even to the detriment of the kid? Because I asked y'all inside of the chat, who's the one that's really losing out on this situation? Y'all said the child. I asked y'all, who was the one that was losing out on this situation? And every single person in the chat said the kid. Y'all said the cheering. The 11-year-old cheering is the one that was losing out on this situation. Okay, well, if that is the case, then why is she not doing the thing that's in the best interest of the child? Spite. It's anger. It's a money grab. It's a play. That man is in Houston paying no state taxes on his income, on that $28.5 million bag, and now she feeling a certain type of way because she can't finesse him out of no bag. Nobody told you to leave. I shouldn't have to substantiate your lifestyle. You a grown woman. You should be able to do some more movies and be able to help yourself, right? It's a play. It's a play. It's all about the money. In court documents, she said Long requested legal and physical custody of him while allowing for reasonable visitation. Stop it, bro. A judge has yet to rule on the request, and Udoka has yet to reply after Long filed the documents earlier this month in Los Angeles County Superior Court. Notice how she filed it in Los Angeles, even though he living in Houston. Why? Because we all know that California laws are more aligned with what it is that you want to do as a woman, and they're more apt to grant you what it is that you want because they look at women as damsels in distress. That's what happened to Kevin Costner. Not a dude got to pay $250,000 a month just for child support. And they had a prenuptial agreement. They ended their 13-year relationship after Udoka allegedly had an improper relationship. And see, they can't say affair because she wasn't married. Improper relationship with a staffer at the Boston Celtics while he was a head coach. Udoka, who led the Celtics to the NBA Finals in the 2021-2022 season, was suspended and eventually fired from his post. Said, I want to apologize to the players, fans, and the entire Celtics organization and my family for letting them down. He said after his full season suspension was announced on September 22nd, I'm sorry for putting the team in this difficult situation, and I accept the team's decision. Out of respect for everyone involved, I will have no further comment. He was dismissed February 2023, and then he got a job with the Houston Rockets right after that. Long, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air alum who has starred in movies from You People to The Best Man, said early this year that the scandal and breakup tested her resilience. She said, I've had some pretty devastating moments in my life over the last couple of months, and I've had to just say, it's all right. You'll pick yourself back up, and oh my God, I'm about to cry. You pick yourself back up and you keep it moving. And then after February, back in April, 2 months later, Udoka was over there at the Houston Rockets busting down that bag. Long also has a 22-year-old son from a previous relationship. We like to leave that part out when we always talking about our black queens. Let me highlight it. Long has a 22-year-old son from a previous relationship. Why y'all keep being relationship and engagement queens? Why y'all ain't never getting married? Why y'all keep opening up y'all legs to the people that ultimately ain't doing the best thing for you? I tried to have a conversation with y'all last night and tell y'all what came along with being with high-value men. Are you prepared? Can you really deal with it? A lot of y'all want these men that make a lot of money, but you're not really prepared to deal with a man that make that type of money. All right. Okay. I just hope Ime Udoka don't get involved with any of these syphilis queens down there in Houston because it's bad out there in these streets. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to move over. I want to get over to the Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith. Prince Elian is in the building. Warmonger Nikki Haley lied about Putin, saying he was going back to Poland, saying he was going to attack Poland and the Baltics after conquering Ukraine. He never said that, just saying. Oh, y'all don't like Nikki. Nikki about to catch a L out here in these streets. Latrell said, Anton, keep doing you. Weirdos are heroes. Salute, fam. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Latrell. Thank you for holding me down, and thank you for supporting the platform. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. You know where else it is. And make sure you get that Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Let's get over to Shannon Sharp. I had a take about what I thought was going on with Shannon Sharp. I previously said, I'm going to read that super chat shortly for Sake and Archives, that I didn't believe that Shannon Sharp would join First Take. Listen, I remember what I said, and I'm bringing myself back to the front of the congregation. And I want to add the context. I said I didn't believe that Shannon Sharp would join ESPN First Take. A, I didn't believe that they had the bag to be able to secure him. I'm wondering what they paid him. And then B, I thought that Shannon Sharp was too big for First Take. I believed that Shannon Sharp was too big for First Take. I really did. I didn't think that Shannon Sharp would at any point ever even entertain the possibility of going over into First Take. I thought he was too big for it. I thought that he was the person that actually deserved his own show, and he deserved to be the headline of a show. But I also got another take, even though I was wrong at the possibility of Shannon Sharpe joining First Take, all right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm and the Facebook algorithm, right? Turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. This is Stephen A. officially this morning announcing that Shannon Sharpe is joining First Take.
I honestly didn't know I had an announcement to make until literally 60 seconds ago, but I was informed that it's official. Obviously, First Take has been incredibly successful. We've been blessed and fortunate enough to be #1 the last 12 years. I have all of you to thank, particularly Dan, you, of course, you filling in for the great Molly Karam. Did I pronounce her name right? Karam, okay. Molly and the rest of the crew. So I want to thank everybody here and the success that we've been able to enjoy, but it's all about not standing still and taking it to another level. And
thank you, Black Man Unfiltered, and everybody that's super chatting. I'm going to be reading that shortly.
Official this morning, Mr. Shannon Sharpe will be joining the crew. He will be joining First Take. It is official. Shannon Sharpe is coming to First Take. He will debut.
Why is his tongue out like that? Why is his tongue out like that? What is going on here?
Monday, September 4th. He will be on here every Monday and Tuesday with yours truly. Of course, the crew, Dan Orlovsky, Kim.
All right, so let me add the context here. Now that Stephen A. Smith is saying what he's saying. And I'm going to play the rest of the video shortly. But let me add the context, all right? I think that ESPN gave up a bag, and they not disclosing the terms of the deal, obviously. But I think that ESPN gave up a bag, all right? Here's the context now. He's describing the times in which Shannon Sharpe will actually appear on the channel. So one thing that Charles Barkley used to say about ESPN is they said ESPN is going to work you. They are going to work you morning, noon, and night, and they are going to make sure that they get all of their company money out of you. Everything that they paying you, they're going to have you at the finals. They're going to have you working at night. They're going to have you working in the daytime. You have to get back up, do First Take, so on and so forth, whatever, so on and so, whatever it is that they got to doing. But it appears that Shannon Sharpe was able to secure the bag while only working 2 days a week. Mailman Fresh says, Shannon fumbled. This is a downgrade. I don't think the show will be as good as Undisputed. I don't think that Shannon Sharpe is really have a real investment in being a sports analyst. I don't think that Shannon Sharpe has an interest in being a sports analyst. I think that Shannon Sharpe has an interest in getting to the bag and leveraging the fact that he was a sports analyst, and a great one was Skip in order to continue to do other things. I think that Shannon Sharpe is securing the bag from ESPN, only working 2 days a week, and I think that he's going to spend a majority of his time working on his own ventures and his own podcast. I don't think that Shannon made a bad decision at all. A lot of people are saying that Shannon Sharpe fumbled because he's bigger. I'm telling you that Shannon Sharpe is getting to the bag and only working 2 days a week on First Take, and he's going to be spending the majority of his time building out his own podcast. I think that Shannon played it correctly. I think what the negotiation was had nothing to do with the money that he was working on. I think the negotiation was how much time he would expend on what it was that they was doing over there on First Take. Think about it. They gave him the best 2 days of the week that happens after Super Bowl Sunday and Monday Night Football. After Super Bowls, or not Super Bowl Sunday, after football on Sunday, weekend football, you got to appear on Monday in order to break down everything that's happening with the NFL. And then Tuesday after Monday Night Football. Shannon Sharpe is using ESPN, and if ESPN didn't see this, man, listen, ESPN are fools over there. ESPN just got finessed. Y'all thinking that Shannon Sharpe fumbled because he deserved to be on a bigger platform. Shannon Sharpe is trying to build his own thing. Shannon Sharpe is not trying to become the face of ESPN. Shannon Sharpe is leveraging this in order to get to the bag, in order to continue to promote what it is that he has going on in his own life. Shannon finessed ESPN. They probably gave him a huge bag. What ESPN should have did was go back to the drawing board. Instead of trying to get big names, right? Skip is the only person that should be trying to get big names in order to support what it is that he's putting together. Because Skip is a proven builder of what it is that he does great. ESPN should have went back to the drawing board and got up-and-coming people that could then communicate effectively and then give the bag over to them, or the people that was able to establish their own platform on their own, such as the Pat McAfee. Shannon is running a play on ESPN, and they didn't see it. They did not see it. Stephen A. advocated for it, so I believe that it put ESPN and Disney in a bad negotiating position, because Stephen A. Smith was sitting here on his podcast advocating for it. Stephen A. Smith was on his podcast and was going on air every other week talking about, I want Shannon Sharpe. I want Shannon Sharpe to be on First Take. I want Shannon Sharpe to be on First Take. And so Shannon, being the smart businessman that he did, he leveraged that and probably ultimately got a huge bag from ESPN, only to have to work 2 days a week, get the bag, and then be able to spend the majority of his efforts, his energy, and his time on his own platform that he's building for himself. He said, I don't think he finessed ESPN. They knew what they were getting into, and they have a plan. They know what they're doing based on their track record. What track record? Disney is losing money. ESPN is losing money. That's why they fired everybody. Based off of what track record? They largely leveraged the idea that they were first to the market and they had no competition 10, 15, 20 years ago, back when we had ESPN and SportsCenter being a primary part of our lives. But ESPN is going to continue to lose ground from people that are building. And if you think that people are going to be tuning in just to see Shannon Sharpe debate Stephen A. Smith, it may have a few highlights. But we talk about the fact that he only working 2 days a week when he was working 5 days a week, depending on what was happening over there on Undisputed. It's a finesse. The finesse is who won. Who won? And is it both equal on both sides? I think that ESPN got finesse. I think Shannon is using this, and he got to the bag while also being able to continue to build his own platform.
Lee Marcus Spears, Mad Dog Russo, Ryan Clark and the crew. I've got another announcement coming in about a week or so as well.
Oh, wow.
But that's step one.
You're
step
busy.
one.
Okay.
I'm busy. Yes,
Beautiful.
I'm very busy. But step one is that it is official. I just learned this 60 seconds ago.
Of course.
Literally 60 seconds ago. It is official. Shannon Sharpe is coming to First Take, and he debuts September 4th, and he'll be on this show opposite me every Monday and Tuesday. In advance to my brother Shannon Sharpe, first of all, thank you for joining the show. Secondly, condolences in advance. You're not used to getting beat down. He's the modern day Black Hulk. He's the modern day Black Hulk. You know, he's not used to getting beat down.
You couldn't just say welcome.
The beat down.
You couldn't just say welcome.
Shannon Sharpe, welcome. Welcome to the, how about this? Welcome to the beat down.
Yeah, I think that Shannon Sharpe absolutely finessed ESPN because he got the better part of that deal. I don't think that ESPN is going to grow as a result of it. I'm not even sure if Shannon – here's the real question, and we're going to find out within the first month of him joining ESPN. Here's the real question. Is Shannon Sharpe the same Shannon Sharpe that he was with Skip Bayless, or did Skip Bayless bring the best out of Shannon Sharpe? Is Shannon Sharpe really the Shannon Sharpe that we think he is, or is Shannon Sharpe, did Skip Bayless bring the best out of Shannon Sharpe? That's the question that I have going forward. Because if not, then Shannon Sharpe really finessed him for a bag, right? And also, I'm still going to probably be checking, especially more in the beginning of September, I'm going to be checking more to see what's happening over there on Undisputed than I will be on what's going on First Take. But we going to see. I absolutely think that Shannon Sharpe finessed them. I'm not sure that it's going to be as entertaining. It seems forced. I'm not sure if it seems organic. I'm not sure if we can really depend on Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp to give us an organic show, similar to how we've seen Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp be able to play off the dynamics of how Skip Bayless was always holding LeBron James accountable and how Shannon was authentically bothered by the fact that Skip Bayless always downplayed his football highlights to celebrate people like Tom Brady. And I just don't know. I don't know if we can honestly get the best out of Shannon Sharp the way that he was with Skip Bayless. But it remains to be seen. Definitely going to be checking it out, and I'm definitely going to have my eyes on it. I was wrong about the fact that he was going to join First Take. I didn't know that he was going to do it and finesse him this way, though. Yo, give me a 2-day-a-week deal, and I'm absolutely going to finesse him, too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, though, Shannon Sharp. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations on Stephen A. Smith being crazy about the fact that he put ESPN at a disadvantage and being able to negotiate more effectively. Shout out to Forsaken Archive says, remind me of a Drake album titled Her Loss. Her Loss should have been her face on the cover. Get your editor to do it. Shout out to Forsaken Archives. I appreciate you. Black Man Unfiltered. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered in the building says, Shannon just signed a deal to do podcasts. Did he really? Hold on. Let me look up something real quick. Shannon Sharp. You sure did. You are absolutely correct. Let me read this really quickly. Let me pull this up on the screen really, really quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this up here. That's good stuff, Black Man Unfiltered. I appreciate you, big dog. Let me get back down here and let me see if I can, to get a little bit more context of what's going on with Shannon Sharp. I told you it was a finesse. All day long. All day long, that was a finesse. Let me see if I can get this up here. Shannon is finessing everybody out here in these streets, and he getting to the bag. Shannon Sharp to bring podcast Club Shay Shay to the volume in a new deal. And he signed to ESPN. I told y'all that he was going to leverage it and do it 2 days a week, and he was going to be spending the other majority of his time doing his own thing. The NFL player and former FS1's Undisputed would also work with Colin Cowherd's company to develop new content. Shannon, the former Hall of Famer, found a new home for his popular podcast club, Shay Shay and the Volume. Can I get my $30 million? Yeah, I was half right, Shinsi. I'll read that super chat shortly. Can I just get my $30 million? That's all I want is my $30 million. I'm better than all of these people. And he's just leveraging. He's literally leveraging what it is that he got going on out here in these streets in order to run the bag up. Can I get my $30 million or no? In addition to moving his podcast to the Volume, the digital network and podcasting hub founded by sports host Colin Cowherd, Sharp's company, Shay Shay Media, will jointly produce new programming with the network. The news comes after Sharp's exit from Undisputed, the Fox Sports debate show, in June, which had its podcast back on the market. I'm excited to partner with my friend Colin Cowherd and the creative team at The Volume, Sharp said. The Volume has built an amazing platform that is right fit to help Shay Shay Media reach the next level. It's all about Shay Shay Media, right? That includes developing new shows and bringing on new talent under the Shay Shay Media brand. So he's trying to be a mogul. 1.25 million YouTube subscribers. Began meeting with Sharp that afternoon. Subsequently held several weeks. The conversations with the hosts amid many other competitive offers. The Volume eventually struck a multi-year deal with Sharp in which he will have revenue sharing deal on his multi-million-dollar podcast and others to come. Club Shay Shay features weekly interviews with Sharp and a roster of athletes and celebrities, with recent guests including Dwayne Wade, Steve Harvey, and Deion Sanders. Rumored to be up for a job on ESPN First Takes, what we obviously know about today. Yeah, man. What the heck is that? Oh, it's a commercial. I'm like, what the heck was that on my screen? Yeah, so Shannon Sharp absolutely finessed everybody out of a bag. He's doing multi-deals. He can do all. Obviously, they're not exclusive to just ESPN. And that's why he's only signing on for a couple days a week over there with Stephen A. Smith. Good grief. Good grief. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Congratulations on getting to that bag. Let me read some more of these super chats. That's why I like interacting with the audience, because you guys absolutely, positively do great things. Jake Fever says, ESPN is Alphabet Community. Why wouldn't he join C. Holcomb? Is that Corey Holcomb? Is that what you're talking about? Shout out to Jake Fever. I appreciate you, big dog. Chief Prince Elian says, Mike Go-Along-Pence lied that Trump asking him to reject or return votes unilaterally was unconstitutional. Now, y'all know that I'm not good with all of these big words. You know that I'm a C student, and y'all keep putting unconstitutional and unilaterally and all of this. Listen, 2 to 3 syllables max. 2 to 3 syllables max. Don't be up here trying to embarrass me, trying to have me read this junk. Mike Go-Along-Pence lied that Trump was asking him to reject or return votes unilaterally was unconstitutional, and that no VP has that power or has ever done it. Vice President Richard Nixon did it in 1961. Yes. Shout out to my dog, Prince Elian. Thank you for holding me down. My dog, Tony Williams, says, I told you Shay Shay was that feminine, has that feminine energy. How you get Shay from Shannon? But seriously, he professionally broke up with Skip over his blue heart. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, my dog. Tony Williams. Shin C says, you were half right. Club Shay Shay went elsewhere. I'll take that. Glass half full. Also, my dog, Black Man Unfiltered, said he got a multi-million-dollar deal with his new liquor brand as well, signed last week. What liquor brand? What liquor brand has he got? Oh my God. Are we gonna be shout out to Club Shay Shay. Getting all of the bags and all of the money. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to the money, y'all. People can't afford to move. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm.
If you are one of the millions on a journey toward the American dream of owning your own home, then you probably already know. It's tough out there. This week, the average interest rate on a 30-year mortgage climbed to 7.48%, the highest level since November 2000.
This is the highest level of interest rates. It climbed to basically 7.5%. Up from around 7%, slightly less than 7%, to over 7.5%. Did y'all know that you can actually get a lower interest rate if you get a 15-year mortgage instead of getting a 30-year mortgage? Did you know that you can actually get a lower interest rate if you get a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage? A lot of y'all are focused on the payment instead of being focused on the interest rate. I understand. I get it. It makes sense. But basically, mortgages has become the interest rate on mortgages has gotten to the highest level since the year 2000.
Very, very freaking hard to buy a house.
Rates have nearly tripled in the span of just a couple of years from the lows seen during the pandemic. Back in January 2021, they dipped to 2.65%. That climb came as the Federal Reserve aggressively hiked interest rates to tame inflation, which ballooned above 9% last summer. But even as overall inflation has cooled and the Fed has slowed its efforts, mortgage rates have continued to climb, a lingering problem for both house hunters and would-be sellers who are opting to stay put.
Sellers are really in the driver's seat right now. The problem is they don't want to drive. They likely have a rate that's either 4% or below, and so they're in what we call the golden handcuffs.
So how long will interest rates stay this high?
No one has a crystal ball. We don't know when rates will pull back again. It really all just depends on inflation.
Stacey Esser, a real estate agent in New Jersey, says her clients are feeling the squeeze.
Buyers are frustrated, they're upset, and a lot of them are looking back wishing they bought 2 years ago.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with all of that is that interest rates being at 7.5% is not actually anything that's abnormal. It's abnormal based off of the fact that we've had this manufactured economy in which we've kept money really, really cheap in order to keep people going into debt and spending. 7.5% is actually pretty normal. It's just not normal for your lifetime. And so when you use it from a comparative perspective, based off of what was happening in 2021, that's how people are getting upset because they're looking at the payment at 2.5% versus the payment at 7.5%. And it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. And for people that got that interest rate at 2.5%, in their mind, they got a steal, they got a deal. Even though they may have overpaid for their house, they're focused on the payment versus what the payment would be. And so they're less likely to sell, which then makes it more lucrative for somebody like me that is building. When I seen interest rates starting to go up and lumber prices going down and labor starting to remain stagnant, I said, all right, time for me to pivot, make a different move, and start to move a little bit differently because I know that the markets is changing and that I make adjustments based off of what the long-term opportunity is. And so what you're seeing now is that there's less inventory on the market because people are less likely to sell because they don't want to have to spend the money on buying a new home and then financing at 7.5%. 7.5%.
Years ago.
What are things buyers are sacrificing right now to get into a home?
We're seeing some pullback. We're seeing some buyers that are saying, you know what, I'm going to hold on. And they're sitting on the sidelines.
Experts say if you are in the market, there are still some things you can do to try and bring down your rate. What's your advice to deal with these high mortgage rates right now?
Let me guess. Put down a higher down payment.
The first thing you want to do is make sure that your credit score is solid. And the second thing you want to do is shop around. Take a look at mortgage brokers and other credit unions and other options that might be available to you.
So, I mean, Vic, as we move into the fall here, what should folks be looking out for if they are in the market?
So a teeny bright spot. Builders are really working to try to fill the inventory gap. We're looking at about half of the inventory that was available compared to before the pandemic. So we just need more housing.
Yeah. Anton is definite. I hate them cookie cutter houses. I hate when you actually see these manufactured cul-de-sacs or they go in and they tear down all of the forestry and then they build up all of these cookie cutter homes that all look the same. It absolutely disgusts me. It absolutely disgusts me. That looks so generic. There's no character on that street. There's nothing on that street that actually screams, I want to move there. There's nothing on that street that screams, I want to move there. They're building these homes super cheap. Listen, y'all, when y'all go out here and y'all purchase a home, it's going to seem nice. It's going to seem cool because it's going to be your first home. But I'm telling you, if you look at how it is that they throwing up these homes, they're putting no love, no care, and they just throwing up these homes, and they're not really investing in the infrastructure of what it is that you guys are going to have to deal with for the next 30 years. These homes are cookie cutter. They're cheap. They got cheap shingles. They got cheap infrastructure. They got cheap construction workers. Everything that they're doing is absolutely trash. Trash, trash, trash. I would never buy a home that's in that cookie cutter looking like subdivision. It's just not my move. But that's just me. It does look like a test area for Area 51. Shout out to Phil. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. This junk look trash, and people are getting so desperate that they're now starting to buy these properties, but I'm moving a little bit differently. I'm going into the neighborhoods that already have an established footprint. And that's where I'm deciding to build all of my places. I'm actually about to be closing on a new place at the end of the month. Y'all know that I closed on a place before I went to Japan, but I'm supposed to be closing on a new place either by the end of this month or the end of next month, depending on if we can come to a deal.
Some markets, obviously not the hot ones, builders are actually trying to chip in and pay some of your closing costs. So that's a great incentive for buyers. We're seeing more builds.
And they build them far away from cities. You got to drive 20 minutes to go to a CVS to pick up a prescription. You got to drive 15 minutes just to go to the grocery store.
to rent communities that are popping up across the country. We did a story here on Today about it, which allows you to live that single family lifestyle without worrying about maintenance. You're renting, you've got that flexibility, and you can save toward a down payment. And as far as renters goes, this
All right, moving on to a different topic now. Economists are sounding the alarm on rising mortgage rates, predicting that they could reach 8% if the Federal Reserve keeps hiking interest rates. Right now, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is at its highest level in 22 years. Charles Payne is the host of Making Money on Fox Business. I want to put up the Freddie Mac graph of where mortgage...
First of all, I am familiar with this gentleman. However, this guy right here... Hold on. See if I can rewind it just slightly. I have a hard time trusting a man that wear makeup with no stash, man. I have a hard time trusting a man that wear makeup with no stash, man. Where your stash at, dog? Got that baby face and no stash. Homie, come on, man. You a grown man out here in these streets. That man ain't got no stash, dog. I can't take no financial advice from no man that ain't got no stash. Not no black man with no stash. Listen, I rock with him. I heard that he got a halfway decent show. But, bro, it's very, very difficult for me to take advice from a dude with no stash, man. All right, let's continue. I like him. I didn't say that he was a bad guy. I'm just saying that I look at him. I look at a black man with no beard and no stash the same way as I look at a black man that wear a hoodie that come down the street with the hood on in the summertime with his hands in his pocket. Get your motherfucking hands out your pockets, man. Why you out there with no stash, man? Why you got your hands in your pocket with that hoodie on in the summertime? That's not kosher. Why you got a mask on? We ain't back in the pandemic. But I rock with him. He cool. He actually a halfway decent dude, so I rock with him. But you know me, I be noticing stuff that some people didn't notice. So let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of what he got to say.
Freddie Mac graph of where mortgage interest rates have gone since Joe Biden took office. And other than a slight dip earlier this year, look at that. It's a steady race to the top for both the 30-year and the 15-year firm. If it hits 8% with another Fed rate hike, Charles, is that a psychological...
I think we going to 8%. Sooner rather than later, we are definitely going to 8%. Sooner, we are not going to stop at 7.5%. I think that we are absolutely positively going to 8%. Don't worry. Listen, Anton is building housing, and I'm going to also give y'all what my long-term strategy is, but we'll go from there.
Barrier that really could slow things down in terms of home sales and new home construction?
It's a psychological and a monetary barrier. So, I mean, this is, John, I think the great thing about that chart is how fast it went up. Because we had inflation come, a 40-year inflation that we hadn't seen in a generation from all of the money that was poured into this economy, and I argue a lot of it was unnecessary. We're dealing with the consequences of that. Yeah, the Federal Reserve, we just saw the minutes yesterday from their last meeting. Looks like they're going to continue to raise rates. And we don't know how many more times, but it's not unreasonable that 8% would be the key. Now, here's what's so unique about this. Because rates went up so quickly, you have a lot of folks who own homes and they're paying mortgages at 3% or less. So now you're talking about mortgages at 8%. Well, it's good if you only have a house and you're paying 2% and you bought a $500,000 house and you love it, but you can't move. You can't move. Even if you make a profit, you can't move because your ensuing mortgage would be so much, it would erase all of the gains.
Unless the gains that you have and the equity and the property that you have allow for you to be able to pay cash for the house. But here's the question that I have. Why would you want to move? Why are people so eager to move? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why are people so eager to move? What are they eager to move for? What are y'all moving for? I'm just curious. Why are y'all so eager to move? Why y'all so eager to sell your parents' house? Why are you so eager to sell and get the quick cash? I don't even understand why a lot of y'all taking out HELOCs unless you leveraging that money in order to continue to acquire more assets in which you then be able to pay off that HELOC a lot quicker. Why are people so eager to move? Why y'all so eager to get some more payments? Somebody said more room. No, Stop having babies. Stop having babies. Why y'all so eager to move? What up, Fan? What's happening, baby girl?
Does this impact the economy? Obviously, the housing market is critical to the economy. People can't move for new jobs. And then there's the psychological aspect of this you're talking about. Right now, at this very moment, Goldman Sachs says housing affordability is the worst it's ever been in this country. That hurts new housing, house developments. People aren't going to get married. There's no starter homes out there. So the overall impact of this, directly and indirectly, it's mind-boggling, and it's getting worse every day.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Somebody said people don't want to move; they have to move. Anton, taxes is going through the roof. Are y'all talking about property taxes? Are y'all property taxes going too high? Is that what y'all saying? I'm just curious because if you gonna sell, take the equity out of the property and then buy something cheaper in a cheaper space, then that's different. If you're trying to move for a job or you're trying to move all the way across the United States, then that's different. But a lot of people is just moving because they want to upgrade. That's the honest to God truth. A lot of y'all are moving because you actually want to upgrade. You're not moving because it's the best thing. A lot of y'all moving because you're just trying to upgrade. You're not moving because of you need more room or anything like that. You moving because you want to upgrade. Most people got more than enough room to continue to maintain what it is that they got going on.
You know, real estate prices are still off the charts in so many places. Charles, I was thinking about you and your beloved Dodge Ram T-Rex truck as we took a look at gas prices. Here's where we are today. $3.87 a gallon is the national average. A week ago, it was $3.82. A month ago, it was $3.56. That's putting a big crimp in people's budgets, Charles.
It really, really is. This is so amazing, and it should not be happening at this time, but it is. And you know what? It may get worse. We dodged a few bullets last year. There was a very warm winter in Europe. China's economy did not bounce back to the degree we thought it would, but China probably going to have to do a major stimulus plan. That will increase the demand for crude oil, and it could be a harsh winter. Every now and then we get those. So this might just be the very beginning. Also, you know, we're entering hurricane season here in America. Well, obviously, we pray and hope that it's a mild one, but all of those things conspire to keep pushing gasoline prices higher and higher.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Honestly. Here's the thing. The only reason that I would see y'all moving, or the only time that I would suggest that y'all move, is if you A, live in Florida, B, live in California, C, you got too much house, you bought too much house and you can't really afford to be there. Other than that, I can't see why y'all would move. Or if you live in Arizona. If you live in any one of these places that I think is going to absolutely positively be disrupted either by the policies that's going on in that state or by climate, then I think that that's when you start to move. Believe it or not, and again, I'm standing on that and I believe in it, and it's a lot of people that actually justified it, and they called me and they contacted me or they DM'd me and they said, Anton, now that I looked at it and I started playing the numbers and stuff like that, you absolutely right. A lot of people gonna get left holding the bag over there in Arizona. Arizona is even slowing. It's a lot of cities over in Arizona that's slowing building permits because they got too many building permits and they don't have enough infrastructure to be able to support what it is that they building, including water and including schools and so on and so forth. Arizona's temperature, you can't even go outside in the summer in some places in Arizona. That's just the honest to God truth. California, a lot of insurance companies is leaving out of California. Over in Florida, obviously the majority of Florida is at or below sea level, so we know what's going to be happening over there. In Arizona, I don't think that they have the infrastructure to support what it is that they're trying to build. They now putting restrictions on how much water they can use over in Arizona because they haven't solved for that problem. Schools, infrastructure, temperature changes. I heard over in Arizona they just opened up the border and they let a whole bunch of illegals over there. If you going anywhere towards the middle of the country, that's where I would be. From an investment perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, I know a lot of people feel a certain type of way about the winters and all of that other type of stuff. Cool. Then make more money to where you can spend your winter somewhere else. Where it is that all of the money is going to go, you got to remember the Great Lakes I believe, is 21%. Great Lakes is 21% of the world's fresh water. It's the biggest freshwater reserve, or not reserve, the biggest freshwater space in the entire world. The Great Lakes is 21% of the fresh water that is available in the entire world. I could be wrong on that, but I thought that I read that multiple different times in multiple different spaces. And I think that that's where all of the investment is going. And so a lot of people is moving around based off of what the circumstance is, but they need to follow the trends. They need to pay attention to what the insurance companies is doing. They need to pay attention to what's going on in the industry. They need to see where the interest rates are. You need to see where the property taxes is headed. Over in Florida, everything that's being built, they raising up the HOA fees, and now they evicting people because they're not paying their HOA fees anymore. Somebody said move to China. No, you shouldn't. China is about to go through. China is already in a recession. A lot of people don't know that China is already in a recession. China is already in a recession, and they're not designating themselves as being in a recession yet. Never move to China. Never move to China. All right. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I'm gonna get y'all up out of here. It's been a great show today. It's gonna be a great show on Friday too. We got some great stuff lined up for y'all. Black Man Unfiltered says Laportier from the legend, that is Shannon Sharp, comes to the legend to be Laportier, a dynamic range of upscale cognac. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. Somebody in the chat said Black Man Unfiltered is basically a producer. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered for filling me in on what the hell is going on out here in these streets. Jake Fever says Laportier Cognac. I got a review up on my page now. Make sure y'all go and check out Jake Fever's page and subscribe to his page. It's absolutely awesome. Thank you, Jake, for the super chat. Shout out to Phil. Just came through and threw a 50 ball in the collection plate. Shout out to Phil. Just came through and just blessed your boy with a 50 ball. I appreciate you, Phil. It does not go unnoticed. Shout out to Phil. Let me give you another one. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for holding me down. JC Inc. says Trump fired John Bolton because of his stash, man. Thank you for the 2-ball. Cliff Williams says completely unrelated. I'm here, monster mashing in his work, and 3 other guys are here telling me to slow down so they can make money too. I said, F your feelings. Shout out to my dog, Cliff Williams, in the building. I appreciate you. Jake says, AD, keep taking my scratch-off money. My grandma won $2 million last year, so don't tell me not to play either. Google Geraldine Gimlet, no cap. Don't be putting your grandmother's name out there so everybody can be trying to tap her in for some money. Now you about to have the scammers trying to figure out where she live at. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Geraldine getting at that bag. Macy O'Dingle says, Anton, we in a recession too. Don't sleep. No, we not. No, we not. No, we not. I appreciate you for the 2-ball, but we are not in a recession, my friend. Not even a little bit. We are not in a recession. We are laden with debt. We are faced with repossessions and evictions to a little extent, but we're not even close or remotely close to a recession, in my opinion. All right. There may be some people that is experiencing a version of the recession in their own personal lives, but as a economy, unemployment being at the lowest rates and stuff like that, I don't believe that we're in a recession at all. Jarice says, what up, though? We still chasing the bag behind the scenes. Shout out to Jarice in the building. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely, positively the best audience on earth. And I am looking forward to you guys and live streaming with you guys tomorrow morning, where I give you guys the opportunity to be able to come up and give me your thoughts on whatever it is that you agree or disagree with me about. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform. Thank you for the super chats. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. On top of that, get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Don't fumble the bag. Some of y'all got paid today. Don't fumble it. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.